بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Whoop. How are you guys doing? How is everyone doing? Where's chat? Hello, chat? Chat, where are you? Chat, don't leave me alone, please. Oh, they're here. Hello. How is everyone doing? It's been a while since the last one. That is correct. It has been a while. Completely my fault, though, but I will go back to being consistent, inshallah. So, I'm probably gonna have to find a new background. This one seems too basic, but that's fine. It is okay. It's okay. For now, we shall focus on what we have at hand. So let's start saying some highs for now, and then we get to it. We'll get right to it. Right through the Counter-Strike. How about you? Honestly, I wasn't doing so well until I had to review for this stream, and I've cried quite a bit remembering, Seerah and stuff, and so it's always makes me feel better. But yeah, good thing I got it out of the way too, because I don't want to cry on stream. But it was very. Maybe if I read from the stuff that I haven't read yet, it would be dangerous, but so far. Do you guys want the echo, by the way? If you guys want the echo, I should put it on, but if no one cares, then that's better. Because I don't care. Honestly, let's put it. Everyone's like, echo, where? Echo, where? Echo, where? Alright, we put echo on. Hello. Selamat siang. Assalamu alaikum. Hope things get better. Trust me, they will. The more I stay close to Allah, the better things will be. That's how it works. Oof. Okay, let's get right into it, chat. Alright, let's talk about this. So, it's been a while since the last time we talked about Ar-Raheeq Al-Makhtum. Ar-Raheeq Al-Makhtum, as you can see in the thumbnail, is a book about the Seerah. Seerah is the whole story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Islam. If you're not a Muslim, it is fine for you to hear this as well. But I'll explain more. Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet sent by God, or Allah we call it in Arabic, but it's the same thing. Allah and God are the same word. They're the same meaning. Some people don't know that. Some people are like, oh, we believe in God, we don't believe in your Allah. But bro, Allah is God. What do you mean? Right? A lot of people have that misunderstanding. So Allah is a different way of saying God. There's a saying in Arabic that the more names something has, the mightier it is. Like a lion. A lion has a lot of names in Arabic. Asadun, Ghadamfar, Antar, and like other names that I don't know probably. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has 99 names. And even more that we don't know about. Right? That just shows how mighty and above everything Allah is, God is. Layth, yes. I was gonna say Layth, but then I was like, wait, wasn't Layth the smaller one, the cub? But no, that's what's the smaller one called? Shibl, right? Anyways, today we will do a little bit of review on what we talked about. We talked about how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We talked about everything in the previous episodes, very old stuff about how Arabs started and how there were three types of Arabs back then. The annihilated Arabs, as in they don't exist anymore. If you look around in today's world, they don't exist because they all died. They all got massacred because they were a bunch of tyrants who did not want to worship God, and they just wanted to do whatever they want and be cruel in the world. And these are Ad and Thamud. These two are the Arabs that were annihilated from the face of earth, and only their houses remain. If you look at places like Mada'in Salih, I think it's in Yemen or something, their houses that they made, they were giants. They made their houses from mountains. You would look at the mountain and then you would see that there's a huge house carved on a mountain. That just explains how strong they were and how giant they were. And apparently it was the very first human as well, Adam. Adam was very, very big and very huge in comparison to us, to the point where I think I remember I completely forgot how big. I kind of don't want to Google it because it takes some time, but Adam alayhi salam, first human, was very, very huge in comparison to us. And the older humans also lived for a long time. A woman during Prophet Moses' time asked Prophet Moses about us. How old do we live? The humans that came after Prophet Moses, and the new humans we are. We're the humans that are close to the end. The end, which is the Day of Judgment, is very close, and as we're getting closer, Prophet Muhammad said that the ages of humans will be from, they live till their 60s or 70s, and that's where we stand here nowadays. And anyways, that woman, when she was told that, the humans by Prophet Moses, when she was told that the humans would live only for like 60 to 70 years, she said, wow, I would spend that much time in a single sujood. One sujood. If I knew my life was that short, I would just spend it all in one sujood. She thinks it's super short. Prophet Nuh lived for 1,000 years. It is amazing how far things changed from back then, and it is more amazing to know that there's that much history that is available to us as Muslims. We know so many stories, so many things that happened back then, and we can learn from it, from all these things. And this is why something like Seerah, Ar-Raheeq Al-Makhtum, is a really, really, really good source for us to learn from what happened back then, what happened to Prophet Muhammad, and what his stories and adventures were. I would also probably talk about other stories, like I talked about Prophet Yusuf on stream before. I'm pretty sure I talked about Prophet Moses on stream before, Jesus or Isa before on stream. We've talked about other prophets before, but for now let's focus on Prophet Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, Rani. So the last few times, yes, yes. But even if they lived for 1,000 years, doesn't really matter. In the end, they all died. And now let's talk about how far we've been in. We've talked about Arabs, who they were, that they were Arabs that got annihilated, and then there was actual Arabs, Al-Arab al-Ba'ida, Al-Arab al-Musta'riba, Arab al-Ariba, right? There was Arabs who originated from Yemen. This is where all Arabs originated. The Arabs came from Yemen originally, and they met with Prophet Ibrahim's family, his wife and child Hajar and Ishmael or Ismail, and then they had, they sat there at the Zamzam fountain. We talked about all these things during the previous stream, so I'll go through this quickly. And from there, Prophet Ismail's children were Al-Arab Al-Ariba, as in Al-Musta'riba, as in the Arabs that learned Arabic and therefore they became Arabic. Which is very funny because from these people were Quraysh, the people who are so prideful, so racist, in fact, to the fact, oh, we are the Arab, we're the greatest of Arabs, even though they were, they weren't really Arabs. They were Arabitized, I guess you could say. They were Arabicianed, So it is very funny that some people can be racist or be like, oh, but look at me, I'm like that. But if you always look at the origin, it's just like we're all human. It doesn't matter really. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. So after that, we talked about the childhood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who raised him, how he slowly grew up, how he got married to Khadija, his first wife, and how still racist. Well, that's funny. But yeah, that is sad. It is sad. People always try to think that they're better than other people for some reason. No, Prophet Ibrahim has 2. I don't think he has 3. He only has 2. Kanthura? I have not heard of that. I have not heard of her. Prophet. I've never heard of her. Kanthura. I don't know who that is. Sorry. I don't know, so I can't answer you, but what I know, Sarah and Hajar. And Hajar was the Milk Yamin was given to him by the king. Alright, so then we talked about how Prophet Muhammad ﷺ got married to Khadija, his first wife, at the age of 25. She was older than him. And then eventually at the age of 40, which is usually the age where prophets gets their revelation, they get to know that there are prophets. They get the message from God, the message from Allah that, hey, you're a prophet and you should be trying to get people to worship me, which is God saying that to the prophet. And that's where that's where everything started. That's where the Dawah, we call it, the Dawah started. We also said that the Dawah was, the Dawah, which means the message, the invitation. You could translate it to invitation, as in inviting people to Islam so that they can, worship God and then go to heaven. Because that's the whole reason we exist, right? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُمْ مِنْ رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ يُطْعِمُونَ. To translate these ayahs in Surah Al-Jinn, sorry, it's not Surah Al-Jinn, in Surah Al-Muddathir? I think it's Al-Muddathir. Wow, my memory is failing me. To translate these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, God is saying, I did not create ins and jinn, as in humans and jinn. People call them devils, but we know that the correct term is jinn, because devils can be human and can be jinn. Devils are the bad people. The bad humans, we call them devils. The bad jinn, we call them devils. Right? Shaitan, we call them. Shaitan can be a human and can be a jinn. There are good jinns, just like there are good humans, and vice versa. This invitation, this da'wah, was split into 2 stages. 2 big stages and then smaller stages. The 2 big stages was something called قبل الهجرة, something called بعد الهجرة, or we could call it the Mecca stage when everything was still in Mecca as the Islamic base of operations, and where everything was working, and where the Prophet ﷺ lived. And then there is the Medina stage where the Prophet had to leave and go to Medina. We'll get to that. And then there's smaller stages. In the Mecca stage, there's 2 stages as well. There's the secret stage, and then there's the public stage. We talked about how in the very, very beginning, when the Prophet was giving this big responsibility, he was not supposed to go around and just scream at people, telling them, hey, I am a prophet, I'm this. No, it was supposed to be first in secret, fall only to those he completely trusts. Because that's what you do, right? You always go to the people who would believe you, because it was a huge thing to believe. It's not easy. If someone right now appeared in the world and said, hey, I'm a prophet, would anyone believe them? No. No one would believe them. It's absolutely impossible to believe them, right? The reason being is that we know that the last prophet is Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, right? He has been told that he is the last prophet, and we know that. But back then, there wasn't that thing, right? And no one has no one has an idea if there's what's a prophet. No one was being foretold that the prophet will be here. Assalamu alaikum. Hello people. Good evening. All right. No one was told these things. So the good, the better course of action was to go in secret first. For the first 3 years in Mecca, all the Prophet did was to talk to his friends, his family, and slowly but surely get people into Islam. But only the very close people. Eventually, even though he was in secret, Quraysh, the biggest clan, the biggest tribe that lived in Mecca, heard of this, but they decided to ignore it. And we've been over that as well. Eventually, though, Prophet ﷺ got the order from Allah to finally go public with the da'wah, to tell people in public that come to Islam, and this is, I am a prophet, and all this, right? And we also been how that worked out, and how the reaction was very bad. It was good, but then his uncle ruined it for him, right? He told him, damn you, is this why you gathered us? And just shut him up in front of everyone while he was trying to get people to listen to his speech. And the last stream, we finally caught up to the last stream. Last time we talked, we were talking about how people, the kuffar, the non-Muslims, were trying to make sure that Islam does not spread, and how they did it, and how they were trying their best to not let Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions to spread Islam. So we talked about how they tried their best to not let them spread Islam, right? And always say, no, they're lying, these guys are liars, blah, blah. And whenever people come to Hajj, because Hajj was a thing since Ibrahim's day, right? Prophet Ibrahim, ever since Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail built the Kaaba, which is, everyone knows what Al-Kaaba is if you're a Muslim, of course, it's in Mecca. Hajj was a thing, even though it got changed a bit, because, Quraysh, people living in Mecca, eventually forgot how to worship only God, and they put other things to worship with God. The practice of Hajj was still a thing, and people still came over to Hajj. So when people come over from all over the world, people who were, under the impression that this is the Bayt of God, the house of God, which is, Kaaba, the Quraysh would make sure to tell them, okay, don't listen to these people. This guy named Muhammad, he pretends to be a prophet, he's just crazy, don't listen to him, right? They try their best not to allow Prophet Muhammad and his companions to get anyone on their side. Eventually, of course, it wasn't only this. We'll get into some more uncomfortable stuff right now, so if you do not like to listen to how cruel the Muslims were being treated, then you're free to leave. But I think this is a good chance for people to understand that we live in a bliss. Some people might just be sad, oh, I don't have fast internet, oh, my parents forced me to do this, to do that. And yeah, I get that. These are struggles. You might be struggling in school, you might be struggling in, but you are still enjoying the luxury of life. You are listening to me right now. That means you have access to internet. That means you have a phone or a tablet or PC, whatever is that. That is such a luxury that people back then didn't have. And despite that, they were way better than us. They had much stronger iman and belief in their hearts. And let's talk about how strong that belief was, okay? So first, the people of Mecca, the non-Muslims specifically, were getting tired of how these Muslims are spreading out. There were slowly but surely more and more people becoming Muslim, and they didn't like that. So they realized that since a lot of these Muslims are actually poor people or slaves, then we will make sure to, and I don't even think the word bully is used here, because bully is just too small for this word. Torture them as much as possible until they leave Islam. Therefore, Prophet Muhammad won't have any more companions, because we're just gonna torture all of them. We can't touch him because he's under protection by, he's a man of stature. People loved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ before the Dawah, and even if they hated what he came with, they can't just straight up kill someone from Bani Hashim, which is a very big tribe in Mecca. That will just make war. They can't just kill him. They obviously hurt him, and we'll talk about how much he got hurt and how much he got tortured by Quraysh and Mecca. But they were not hesitating to kill more of the weaker people with less status, people with less money, right? And we'll get to that in a minute. Prophet Muhammad was very careful. Yes, I don't know why you're saying this, but okay. Okay, so let's talk about what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had to go through. First, Abu Lahab, his own uncle, right? His own uncle. We already talked about how badly he ruined all of his, he tried so much to do his best to get people into Islam, and Abu Lahab was just there. He would literally chase after him, right? He would chase after him during Hajj season, when the Hujjaj, the pilgrims would come to Mecca to do Hajj. He would chase after Muhammad as he's telling people to come to Islam and tell them, don't listen to this guy, he's a liar. And not only there, he would throw rocks at him while he's doing that until the Prophet would bleed. Okay? And not only that, he had two sons, okay? He had two sons, Abu Lahab, the Prophet's uncle. He had two sons that were married to the Prophet Muhammad's two daughters, Ruqayya and Kulthum. So as soon as the whole Islam thing started, he made sure that his sons are gonna divorce Prophet Muhammad's daughters, and they did. Right, so not only he broke, he was torturing his own nephew, but also he went after his nephew's daughters, making sure to break their hearts and let their husbands divorce them. And when Prophet Muhammad's second son died, Abdullah, he was happy. He went around saying, Inna Muhammadan abtar, which means he's someone who is abtar, means to cut something so cleanly, so brutally, that it will never grow back. Batr al-yad, to cut up. Oops, my bad, sorry. I did the hand motion. Even though no one can see me, I was just like showing the hand motion of how to cut off a hand. Sorry. So the batr al-yad is to cut it off cleanly. And in the same meaning, when someone has no sons, specifically sons, in back then, they would never have a legacy, right? It's a very simple concept. If you have a son, then they take back your name. So let's say my dad is Tucker, okay? So my name would be Amika Ibn, the son of Tucker. That's my name, because I am his son. And then if I get married, my child will be named Yasin, right? Yasin ibn Amika ibn Tucker. So Tucker's name is forever, as long as people remember and like to keep track of it in like a family tree or something, is there. It is not cut off. People will remember. The legacy is there to stay, right? Because he had a boy, he has a child, and that's why Quraysh was obsessed with having boys. And if someone would have a girl, if his wife just gave birth to a girl instead of a boy, they would kill her. They would just bury her alive, because girls were a source of shame for them. Because you got a girl, you'll never be you'll never have a legacy, you'll never have a right. And the girls always would get kidnapped by bandits, right? And then bandits would eventually sell them to slavery. And then if it was found out that your daughter has been sold to slavery, everyone would shame you for it and all that. So they used to just immediately kill off their young girls before any of that would happen. Yes. So that's why Prophet Muhammad was very sad about this. It's very, very sad. Obviously, first he was sad about Assalamu alaikum, hello UK. Prophet Muhammad was very sad because he lost his son, and the first thing that he hears is his uncle saying, haha, he lost his son, he will never be remembered, he's abtar, right? And this was a huge and a lot of people were saying that as well. Not only his uncle was spreading the word, and people were like, haha. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ended up putting the ayah in Surah Al-Kawthar. In Surah Al-Kawthar, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. To convert Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam Muhammad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the words of the Quran, those words are 100% clear, no doubt in them, that he will be giving Al-Kawthar. Al-Kawthar is the best nahar, the best river in Jannah. in heaven, in paradise, the highest place in heaven, paradise, highest level, the best river in heaven, Al-Kawthar. Al-Kawthar, which is if you drink from it, you will never be thirsty ever again. He was given that river was given to him as a way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling him to, like, this is a reward for your to cheer him up. And he in the surah as well, he was told that those who are making fun of you are the ones who are abtar, are the ones who will have no legacy, and they will not be remembered. And that's true. We don't know any of them. Like, they don't exist. I don't even know a lot of these. Like, we know them in name. It's like, oh, so this person did this to Prophet ﷺ, and then I don't know what they did after that. They just died. And if everyone tried to remind me, do you remember Utbah bin blah blah, I'll be like, who, Migalol? Who? I don't know who that is. Assalamu alaikum. Right? These people have been destined to be forgotten, to be absolutely absurd, the same way they were making fun of Prophet ﷺ, right? The only reason Abu Lahab is being mentioned, even the only reason Abu Lahab is not completely forgotten, is because he's just mentioned as a way to be laughed at, to be despised. Okay? And of course, this didn't end here. You know, after this happened, it didn't end here. Abu Lahab also had his wife. So not only he made his children divorce the Prophet Muhammad's daughters, also his wife. But his wife, he didn't make her do anything. She was naturally, I don't want to say that word, but she was worse than, okay, no, I'm not going to say words, but his wife, Abu Lahab's wife, Jamil, was a woman that is insufferable. She would put spikes and dirt in the way of Prophet Muhammad. Like, as he's leaving his house, he would find sparks, step on them. He would, like, spikes and harmful stuff all over his way. And she would put it at night at his door. So, you know, in the morning, he wouldn't notice. She would always spread rumors about the Prophet. She was a woman with a long tongue, as in someone who just say the worst of things. And you know how women have, like, their network of rumors. If you say something, it's gonna spread out faster than Facebook, right? And she never stopped at that. She never stopped at all what she did. And once the Quran addressed her, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Once the Quran addressed her, and the surah Surah Al-Masad, when Surah Al-Masad came out, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد. Okay, so this whole surah was just dedicated to talking about how Abu Lahab and his wife are destined to just be tortured in hell. So once she heard about it, obviously because it's a Quran, right? Everyone reads the Quran. Once she heard these words, she was furious. She was molding. She was actually like mad, right? And what did she do? She went to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He was sitting at Al-Kaaba, you know, Masjid al-Haram, at Al-Kaaba, with his friend, his closest friend, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And she had a bunch of rocks in her hands, right? or maybe one big rock, either one of the two. But she had rocks in her hands, right? And she stood exactly in front of them. But she couldn't see the Prophet ﷺ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made her blind to him. So she was surprised. She asked Abu Bakr, because she could see Abu Bakr, but she couldn't see the Prophet, who is literally sitting next to him. Like it was a miracle that Allah performed. Where is your friend? Ya Abu Bakr, ayna sahibuk? Where is your friend, Abu Bakr? And then she I swear if I see him, I will hit him in his mouth with this rock. Right? She was saying, if I see Prophet Muhammad swearing that I will hit him with this rock in his mouth. And then she started saying, ana wallahi inni la sha'ir, and I swear I'm a poet, and start saying stuff that no one cares really about, how he dares say things about us, me and my husband, blah blah blah, no one cares. So obviously after she left, Abu Bakr was very surprised and turned to the Prophet. How can she not see you? Ya Rasulullah, ama taraha ra'atk? He's surprised. Like imagine you're sitting in class, you and your friend talking. A third person comes and says, hey, where's your friend? I would be surprised too. Are you blind, my guy? He's sitting next to me. Can you not see him? And yeah, she was blinded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a miracle. And the Prophet told Abu Bakr, ما رأتني لقد أخذ الله ببصرها عني. She couldn't see me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala erased me from her vision. I hope there'll be more. Yes, thank you. Okay. And this didn't end here. Since this was Abu Lahab, the neighbor, the uncle of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his other neighbors did exactly the same things and worse. They would get the shit of camels and cows and throw it on top of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam while he's praying. While he's in his sujood, they would throw these things at him. One time they even throw so much stuff at him that he couldn't get up while he's throwing so many things on top of him in his sujood that he couldn't get up, he couldn't move. Until Fatima, radiallahu anha, his daughter, came over and took it off him. Obviously, a lot more that the Prophet had to endure, and I can't list all of them, right? And every single time when they do these things, the kuffar of Quraysh, they would laugh. They would, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum assalam, hi Sophie. They would laugh. They would just actually just the meme where it goes, psych, that's the wrong number, and then fall down on each other from laughing. Exactly like this. They would laugh so hard to try and shame the Prophet after doing these things, after putting actual crap on top of him when he's praying, when he's trying to be close to Allah. And they would laugh and just fall around on each other. And the Prophet ﷺ can't move, right? They would do all this thing while they're throwing on top of him things, and he's during prayer. What can you do? What can you do during prayer? What can any of us do in a similar situation? And this didn't stop of rumors of trying to even spit on his face, even spit on the Prophet's beautiful face, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They did not leave something. They did everything. And this will come up later. This will come up way later And I want you guys to remember this. If you stay with us and as we talk about the seerahs, when it's time to finally be victorious and finally Islam wins and Mecca is full of Muslims, what do Quraysh say? These same people who treated Prophet Muhammad like this, what do they say to the same person that they treated worse than they would treat an animal, right? What did they say to him? I'll leave that to your imagination if you don't know. So, let's move on. So there's two infamous uncles that the Prophet had. Abu Lahab, we've been talking non-stop about Abu Lahab. Let's talk about Abu Jahl as well. Umar, Abu Jahl. His name is Umar. Right? He would go to listen to Quran, right? It's amazing, like how he thinks, how he's great he was. He thought he was he was being the greatest by doing this, but he would go listen to Quran and then just choose not to obey and be like, no, this didn't convince me, bye. And just say, obviously doesn't just leave like that, just say horrible things to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ after listening to Quran, right? And then he would like be very happy about it. Yes, Abu Hakam. Yeah, no. Was it? Maybe. Because I know someone else is Lahab Al-Hakam. Because Abu Jahl is a Kenya already. Abu Jahl is a Kenyan, so his name Umar. Al-Hakam is probably a different person. So, he would also threaten Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to pray at Kaaba. He wouldn't let him pray. One time he saw him that he was like, Ya Muhammad, alam anhaka an hada? Did I not tell you not to? So obviously the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ fought back and told him fought him back with words. So he told him, Ya Muhammad, بأي شيء تهددني? Told him, what are you threatening me with? Who are you? Like he's being prideful. He's being this arrogant dude. He says this. He says, Wallahi inni la'aktharu hadha al-wadi nadiyan, which translates to anyone, no one here. Wadi, this valley, which is Mecca. Mecca is in a valley. It's not on top of a mountain. It's not in a straight land on the next to the ocean. No, it's in a valley. I swear that in this valley, which is Mecca, no one can have more of a presence when they ask for help. As in, like, if Abu Jahl nada, as in like shouted and is like, come assist me, no one else would get as many people to assist him as Abu Jahl would. He is basically being arrogant. He's flexing his money and wealth because he was a very, very wealthy man. He would literally buy people with that, being that wealthy. He would just like, hey, come here, I'll give you so much money, come help me fight this prophet, fake prophet, which is talking about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replies, with the greatest, one of the greatest replies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فليدع ناديه سندع الزبانية. As in, let him call whoever he wants. Didn't he say, if I call someone, no one can call more people than I do? Let him call. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, let him call who he wants. سندع الزبانية. Who is the Zabaniya? Zabaniya are the angels of hell. The angels who are responsible for hell. Like these, I actually feel a bit Uh, oh, just in case. Yes, they are. I almost thought I missed that. They are the angels of hell that they torment and torture sinners. So imagine that. You're like, oh, I will grab all these men. And Allah says, yeah. Call whoever you want to call. We will call the forces of hell, the soldiers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels. You know, and I don't know what you're gonna do against an angel, my dude, right? In another story, it was said that he held him by the neck. You know, Abu Jahl, he held Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam by the neck, and he was shaking him. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling him, "Awla laka fa'awla, awla laka fa'awla, thumma awla laka fa'awla." Which is basically a way of threatening, to explain. It's basically a threat, right? Allahu wali, like Allah will you know, he's threatening him that Allah will take, you know, a much bigger revenge on all what he's doing. So what did he say? What did Abu Jahl say? توعدني يا محمد والله لا تستطيع أنت ولا ربك شيئا وإني لا أعز من مشى بين جبليها. He's saying, you are threatening me? You are telling me you'll have a revenge on me, Muhammad? No. And he swears, I swear not you nor your God can do anything to me. I am the mightiest who walked on this land. He's saying these things. Arrogant, very arrogant. And it's not like after this he stopped being stupid. No, he got even worse. Like you'd imagine if someone threatens you, you know, even if you know, if like you don't know, let's say you're not sure if that person is a prophet or not, if they're so resolute, if they're so adamant, if they have such a strong belief and spirit, I think a normal person would back off, right? You would back off. You would be like, maybe his God is real, right? If his God wasn't real, he wouldn't be this confident. He wouldn't be this strongly willed. But no, he's dumb. Abu Jahl didn't stop. He got worse. He would do things worse and worse, to the point where he went out and he's like, وَاللَّاتَ وَالْعُزَّى, you know, swearing by his own gods. If I see Muhammad, I will step on his neck. He's saying, I will ruin his face and I'll step on his neck. Right? He swore that he will do it. And we're talking about someone with a statue and money and like huge of pride. That means if he sees him, he will do it. Right? This is so much on the line. Imagine being like, let's say who? Jeff Bezos, I don't know, like Elon Musk, and you say, I will do something. I will beat someone up. And you're like one of the richest people. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows that you're strong, you're rich, you're giant. And you say something like that. Everyone knows that you will do it. And so, he sees the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He sees Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as he's walking towards him, he sees him praying at the Kaaba. As he's walking toward Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he comes back. He doesn't go, he doesn't step on his neck, he doesn't do anything. He comes back shaking. And yes, it was Abu al-Hakam. I just remembered now. Thank you, Shtai. People asked him, what's wrong? Malaka Abu al-Hakam. Why are you like that? Why are you shaking? What's happening? Didn't you just go walk towards Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad, to like step on his neck like you said you would, you know? So he said, إِنَّ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَهُ لَخَنْدَقًا مِّن نَارٍ. There's in between us a sea of fire. And wings. There are wings and a sea of fire. He got scared and came back. He saw so much fire that he didn't know what that was. He got scared and came back. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explained this later. He said, ﷺ, لو دنا مني, لو دنا. So not even, لو دنا means if he even got closer. Not if he tried, not if he actually stepped on Prophet Muhammad's neck. No. لو دنا مني, if he got even closer. لَاخْتَطَفَتْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ عُضْوًا عُضْوًا. The angels would have taken him away, part by part, if he dared get closer. And that's some of the things that the Prophet ﷺ had to endure. But as you can see, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And despite, like with the angels right here protecting him from, like, I would say death or something of that level, but that didn't mean he had complete protection. He had been bleeding. He had shit, actual crap put on him. He had spikes thrown on his doorstep. He had all kinds of things happening to him. But despite all that, he still persevered and continued with his da'wah, with his message to try and make people come to Islam. Now, what about the people who were just weak, poor Muslims, not actually people of status or anything like that? No, they're just people who are probably slaves or poor people who learned about Islam and were happy, and they were like, wow, I want to be a Muslim as well, right? And they believed and they followed Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These also did not have a good time, or did not get the luxury of even being Muslim on their own, or just doing their own thing. That's why we'll talk about what they went through. We talked about what the Prophet ﷺ went through. Let's talk about how other people who joined Islam went through, and let's try to compare them to ourselves and how our lives is right now. Okay. First, Abu Jahl. What would Abu Jahl do? Abu Jahl would see, if he hears that someone with statue and people and money is a Muslim, he would go to them, scream at them, and shame them, and tell them that if they don't leave Islam, they will make sure that they become poor, that they will make sure to not let anyone trade with them. They will make sure that they will lose all their money, right? But what if the person is already poor? He would literally just hit them. He would just start punching them. Like, straight up violence. And similar things were happening to other companions, other Sahaba. The mother of Mus'ab bin Umair, his mother, his own mother, when she realized that he was a Muslim, she kicked him out of the house, right? And never let him get fed. Like, she wouldn't cook for him, and kicked him out of the house. And he was one of the rich people. Like, he was, one of the richest people. So after that, like, imagine, and this really shows the strength of these people's iman. Their how much they love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how much they love Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Hi, long time to say hello. Right? These people, yeah, we'll get to Alat al-Yasir as well. So these people, especially the people who are so up, who are used to luxury, if you let them go down to normal, like if you have someone who's used to internet, having a phone, suddenly you throw them in a desert, or in a farm without internet or anything like that, they will lose their mind. And I need you guys to imagine this with me. They will actually lose their mind. And I think most of us will, right? I tried that before, and it is annoying not having internet and not being able to watch anime, all that, right? And even though this is probably normal for a lot of people are used to, like, not having internet and just farming and doing other kind of things in life. But what happened to Mus'ab, this particular companion, was that he was so up there, and then he went below the normal. Even the normal, so it's like the higher you are, the harder you fall. He fell so hard that he ended up with skin like a snake. You know how a snake has scales skin? He was so hungry, he was so poor after getting kicked out of his house, that his skin would look like he's a snake. His skin would just crumble and have wrinkles in it, because he would never be able to eat, despite being one of the wealthiest. But he still chose to be Muslim. He could have just been like, oh no mother, dear mama, I don't like Islam now, please let me back in, I want to eat my indomie, right? He could have done that. He could have just decided to not be a Muslim. And I know for a fact that a lot of people would not blink an eye if they were told, I will kick you out of the house, you will never be able to eat. But no, he persevered. He stayed. He kept his Islam despite not being able to eat or do anything, right? And then Bilal bin Rabah was a slave to someone named Umayyah bin Khalaf. And hear this correctly. Listen to this, okay? Bilal was a slave to this person, and when he realized that he was a Muslim, he would put a rope on his neck, on Bilal's neck, and then give Bilal to the kids and tell them, all right, take him away for a walk. And not any walk, like this, the humiliation doesn't end here. Not only that they're dragging him by an actual leash from his neck, no. They will take him on a walk on the mountains of Mecca. The mountains around Mecca, that's like the hottest place, the most, rocks are burning and all, just like more chance of just getting hurt and getting stabbed by some sort of rock or anything, right? Rip English. I don't know what to do, chat. I mean, I don't speak Indonesian. If someone here speaks both and would like to translate for people, then I guess that would be nice. But anyways, so that doesn't end there. Even though he would literally have a sign, you could see the aftermath on his neck, that there was a rope on his neck. Not only that, he would get dragged around and get hit and get forced to sit outside during the hottest of times. And we're talking Mecca heat, and I've been there before. Mecca heat has no comparison to any other place. It's an actual place in the desert. Like it is extremely dry and hot. Mecca can there's heat, and you can fry an egg outside. You can actually fry an egg outside. It gets more than 50 Celsius heat. And then there's someone who died in Paris because, oh my god, it was like 40 Celsius. Oh my god, heat stroke. I can't believe Paris so hot, right? And they would throw away Bilal. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Johnny. Been a while. Right? They would throw away Bilal in this middle of the soaring sun and let him stay there. Also not feeding him. Also making sure that it's always at the worst times, the most, like, the hottest of time during dhuhr. Dhuhr is like when the sun is just straight. It's just giving as much heat as possible. They would just throw him there outside. And not only that, during that time, 4D is really good weather. Yep, I know that. It's good weather when only the asphalt behind you is literally burning and you can see a mirage. Okay, so they would put, are you exposing your bellies and they're not allowed? Oh my god. Can someone please tell this guy, brother, do you think this thing in front of you is real? Is this me? Am I a two-dimensional being with blue hair? Do you think I'm real? Do you think this is how I am? I'm asking you this, Helmi, my guy. Hello? Hey, do you think I'm wearing big subha on my neck, my guy? Do you think this big subha right here is on my neck? Do you think that? Here, bro, you think this is on my neck right now? Other than my hair being this tall exactly, nothing else is accurate, okay? Relax. Can't believe I have to have this exact conversation over and over. Have people... one day I'll just open my cam and just... I don't have Nikomimi, it's my bed hair, shut up. Don't say that. Think I'm a furry? Disgusting. Alright, let's get back on topic. Anyways, please understand that I would like to, go outside without people knowing who I am. So, using a VTuber model is the best way. So, maybe realize that this is a VTuber model and it's not me in real life. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Anyways, so where we were, Bilal bin Rabah radiallahu anh, one of the greatest companions, who has been through so much, would also get thrown outside during the scorching sun and heat of Mecca, and they would put a huge rock on his chest, and they would tell Bilal, لا والله لا تزال هكذا حتى تموت أو تكفر بمحمد. I swear, he's telling him, no, I swear you will stay like this, with a huge rock on his chest in the scorching heat of Mecca, until you die or you disbelieve Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you start, praying with us to these, statues, Allah wal Uzza, that literally do nothing to people, to someone. And what does he say? What does Bilal bin Rabah radiyallahu anhu say to them? He says, Ahadun Ahad. Nothing else. He just says, Ahadun Ahad. What does Ahadun Ahad translate to? It means one and only. As in Surah Al-Ikhlas has the same word. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل هو الله أحد. Say he is Allah, the only one, the one and only. There's only one God. That's what Bilal did. Despite what he was in, he would only say, Ahadun Ahad. If any of us would be there, would be crying, would be like, oh, please take the rock off me, please, I'm actually gonna die. A huge rock on his chest, he probably couldn't even breathe, and all he would say is, Ahadun Ahad. Until one day Abu Bakr ﷺ was passing by and saw what they were doing and bought him. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was a very rich man, and all the money he would get, he would use it like this. He would buy the slaves and set them free. He bought him and set him free, Bilal bin Rabah radiallahu anhu. And now to the probably the most disturbing of these stories. Ammar bin Yasir radiallahu anhu was a slave to a house of tribe called Bani Makhzum, right? Him and his father and mother, they were okay. They entered Islam, right? Of course, once they heard that, and especially Abu Jahl, when he heard about this, they would make sure to take them out during the hottest of time in during Mecca, and like make them just burn in the heat outside. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would say, when he sees them, صبرا آل ياسر فإن موعدكم الجنة. Patience, آل ياسر فإن موعدكم الجنة. You will go to Jannah. He promised them Jannah. It was a promise. It was like, imagine being promised Al Jannah for your patience, and they did. They were patient, because Yasir, which is the father died during these sessions of being hit, being thrown in the heat without food or anything. And the mother was stabbed in the heart by Abu Jahl with a spear and died. And she was the first woman to die in Islam, the first Shahida, Yasir, or Ammar, Ammar, Sumayya Ammar. Then the final remaining member of this family, Ammar himself, both his parents just died out of complete torture. They were putting like heated rocks, actual red rocks, because of how hot they are. They're melting. They would put them on his chest, and sometimes they would drown him, right? And they would tell him, we will never let you go until you shit talk Muhammad ﷺ, or you say something good about Al-Lat wal-Uzza, which is our statues are the statues, the actual just rocks that we worship. So he agreed, but he didn't want to. In his heart, he didn't want to do that. So he went to the Prophet ﷺ crying and apologizing for what he did. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم من كفر بالله من بعد إيمانه إلا من أكره وقلبه مطمئن بالإيمان. Except, so those who decided to go back to shirk, to go back to kufr, go back to not being Muslim after being a Muslim, are those obviously going to get tortured and all that, hell, all that, we know the drill. But except other than those who were forced to do something, while their heart is not, their heart is 100% mu'min, their heart is in Islam, they were just being forced to say things. And this is one of the rules in Islam that we talked about before in different streams. 3 rules in Islam. 3 exceptions to doing anything in Islam. 1, not knowing. If you don't know, then Islam will not tell you, oh, you did this, then you have to get, this is a sin, this is no. If you didn't know it was a sin, then it's okay. Well, now you know. Don't do it again. Okay? 2, good night. 2, if you were forced to do it, which is just like this situation, he was actually about to die if he didn't do it. He did it, but that doesn't mean he left Islam. Obviously, in this particular case, he did it. He has to do it with his heart being, remaining in Islam, and not just saying, "Oh yeah, no, I don't care about Islam anymore." Then you just left. You're not being forced, right? 3 is when you forget. And nisyan. If you forget, then you also, just like in Ramadan, and I'm pretty sure everyone is very familiar with this one, right? I forgot I was eating in Ramadan. I forgot. Bonk yourself. Bonk. Sorry, I forgot. I eat. Sorry, happens. I'm pretty sure all of you did it at least once. I'm guilty of it as well. I was like in the kitchen eating, and then I'm like, wait, that's illegal. Well, not illegal, but wait, it's Ramadan, right? And then you have to throw it out if it's still in your mouth. But we all been there. So these are the 3 exceptions to any Islamic rule, to anything. Long time no see. Hello, Yushka. Hello. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Where were we? There was also people who were being, put a rope on their leg and then just drag them around. Getting just dragged around. I don't know how to explain it. Like, do you know how to get, a rope on your leg, and then someone just pulls you on the earth, and just like, all kinds of rocks and stuff would just get in you, the sand would get in your eyes, all that. Actually ate a shawarma? Yeah. That's just... you once... Remember? Bro, shut up, bro. I made Indomie once, and it was already Fajr. I almost cried. I was like, bro, what? I can't finish my Indomie. Saddest day of my life. Maggie, bro. What do you mean? If you think Maggie is better than Indomie, I think you need help. Anyways, Sheikh was confused. Yes, of course. Probably a troll. People do that. It's like if you were eating just like a whole meal and not remembering, it's fine. Like after the meal, if you remember. But you would have said to the Sheikh, I ate a whole meal and then I remembered after. That's fine. I don't think that's... I mean, it's very possible for you to just keep eating. But usually, and I'm just... that's how I know it, because... أطعمه الله وسقاه, they say. It's like, this is Allah giving you food to... If you forget, then that's good, that's fine. That's Allah giving you, strength to continue the day with, some food or some drink. Right? But... usually it's some, right? It's not just like a whole course meal, shawarma and whatever, gallons of water. So that guy's probably trolling. Because I'm pretty sure we all been there. We just eat a bit and then we're like, oh, oops, I remember. I do not forgar anymore. Okay, so now that we left the... Obviously, same things happen to female people, Muslims as well. Muslimas had very similar torture methods that we went through just now. And it's a long list. It's a long list of people who got tortured, and it's a very painful list. And I'm glad I just decided not to talk about a particular one, because I don't think you should be talking about that on YouTube. There's a very particular thing that is very graphic that happened to one of the Muslimas in particular. She died a very horrible death in their hands, but sometimes you don't need to talk about these things. I don't think this is the place to talk about it either. So, this brings us to the last thing we'll talk about today, Dar al-Arqam. So, as we can see, this, like, the whole oppression that the Muslims were taking was getting out of hand. And while the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was, going public with his da'wah, going around and, telling people in front of Quraysh, come to Islam and all that, Muslims themselves were actually not doing anything in public. In fact, if they were seen doing anything, they were immediately just punched and like tortured. As in one time they were just hiding somewhere praying, and then some people in Quraysh saw them praying, so they just started cursing at them and fighting them until Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas fought back and hit someone, and he hit him so hard that blood came out, and that was the very first time in Islam blood was spilled. And this is very interesting, as in, like, this whole time, that was 4 years. 4 years after everything started. It's been 4 years with the Muslims have not fought back at all. This was the first time after 4 years of the Islamic da'wah starting that the Muslims finally fought back. Right? And this really reminds you what people say about Islam. Oh, Muslims say they fight but non-Muslims, and they always want war, and they always just hate kuffar. And that's not true. That's very not true. In Islam, we always fight back. We don't initiate fights. The only one who had the right to try and initiate things with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when what he did was he would try and initiate, because that's his mission. He has to get through the whole world to get them through Islam. He would send a letter to like an Qaisar of the Romans and tell them, hey, I am a prophet and this is Islam, become a Muslim, or we'll fight you. Or, well, technically it wasn't or we'll fight you, become a Muslim, or just, oh man, I don't remember the contents of that letter, but I remember usually when Prophet Muhammad would send a letter to these people, they always get prideful about it. Become Muslim, how dare you? Shut up, and we'll fight you, and then, war happens. But usually, it's always Muslims fighting back. You are always being taught as a Muslim that if you are being hit, you can hit back. But you shouldn't hit someone first. Regardless if they're Muslim or not, you shouldn't go around hitting people. Right? I don't know why we're talking about hitting people right now. So, what Muslims had to eventually do during that time is to find a place where they would have to spend their time to pray and, gather without Quraysh finding them and then starting fights and starting to like curse at them and ruin their prayer and their salah. And that was Dar al-Arqam. It was at As-Safa, Jabal As-Safa. If you guys remember, As-Safa wal Marwa were the two small mountains that the Hajar was, running from one to another, trying to find water. And that's the sa'i that you do when you do Umrah or Hajj. If any of you ever done either of those, you need to do 7, 1 to Safa, 1 to Marwa, and back and forth 7 times as part of your Hajj or Umrah, a sa'i. But that's about it. That's where the 5th year of this for Dawah was, and the next part that we will talk about in the next stream, in another stream, will be Al-Hijra Al-Ula ila Al-Habasha. Habasha. The Habasha has very interesting things that to talk about, but that is a lot for this stream, so we'll probably put that for another stream. قطعت أطرافه يحمل راية التوحيد meanwhile باليوم الوطني لا يرقصون على ظهورهم. استغفر الله بس. What can we say? You know about Seerah in India? No. What? Seerah in India? Let me look that up. Is that such a known thing that there's no even last name? Seerah in India. In India. What's that mean? Seerah India Financial Services? Sara Ali Khan, Indian actress. Nope. Do not know who that is. I do not know who that is. I'm sorry. Alright, but that's about it. We will continue this another time, hopefully very soon. I hope you guys at least understood this, because apparently a lot of people today don't really know what I'm talking about, sadly enough. I'll try to like maybe find a like a translation thing that translates to Indonesian. Caption or something, I don't know. Yeah, you're pretty late. I will be having another stream on my Twitch. You can see it in the description. I will be playing the new upcoming gacha game that just came out. I think its name was Blue Archive. I'll be trying it out on Twitch in a few, probably just in like half an hour or something. So if you'd like regular content like Ramadan, I don't know. I don't like streaming on YouTube. This is very spontaneous. If I stream on YouTube, then I guess I'll schedule the stream early on. But usually I'm not streaming on YouTube. I don't like YouTube. Please play it later. I have school. Omega lul. Okay, tell me, Lumin, how much till school ends? How much time? Tell me how much time and I'll think about it. How much time till school ends? Alright, see you guys later. Bye bye. Remember to say Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Tell me how much till your school ends, and then I'll see. I'll see if I can wait that long. Let's see. Yes, let's see. How long? 12 hours. Omega lul. Hell no. You think I'm gonna wait 12 hours for you, bro? No. Bye bye. I don't know. Should I wait 12 hours? I'll see. I'll see if I wait 12 hours or not. We'll see. We'll see. There's always archives. It's different. The Twitch. I'm waiting for you to play FGO. I played FGO so much on Twitch. Go check out my Twitch. I play FGO there a lot. Probably every stream. I just open FGO for a bit and play. If you check the description of this, you'll find my Twitch. I play there. Just make the stream long. Yes. 5-hit. Just stream for 12 hours. Yes. We'll see. We'll see. I'll try to delay it as soon as possible, but I'll probably be streaming in an hour or something on Twitch. Maybe not. Maybe I'll wait 12 hours. Well, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe. Smile. But yes, I will see you guys around. For those who are coming to my Twitch, then I'll see you guys probably every day or something. I try to stream every day there. For those who are only here for the Islamic content, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully I'll upload more videos or something instead of just streams, but we'll see. Because apparently you can translate them, like the GGG series that I completely forgot about. Probably should do GGG4 or something. Alright, bye bye. Assalamu alaikum. Sampai jumpa. No sampai jumpa. Selamat tinggal. Terima kasih. As long as you know the Blue Archive stream. Funny. You think I'm gonna delay that? We'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see. Alright. Bye, chat. Bye bye. Otsmeka. It's too funny. Ayaya moment. Ayaya.